Hi, and welcome to the Pixie Faire Sewing Academy class. I'm Cinnamon Miles, co-founder of Liberty Jane Clothing, and I'm really excited to have this opportunity to teach you guys how to use your sewing machine and learn the basic sewing skills. Let's get started. So here are a few basic sewing supplies that you will need that do not come with your sewing machine. You will need a pair of scissors that are used only for fabric, and you can find these at the fabric store, and then just be sure to mark them. I've taken a Sharpie on a lot of mine and actually written fabric right on them so that somebody else doesn't happen to just come in and pick them up and use them for something else, paper, cardboard, stickers, whatever. Stickers especially, or cutting over pins or anything like that will dull your blade, and then you won't be able to just smoothly cut right into your fabric. So you want to have a pair that is specifically for fabric, and then you can have another pair that you use to cut out patterns and anything else that you want to cut out that's not fabric. Another pair that I really like and recommend are the little tiny embroidery scissors. They're like 3 inches, I think, and they have a super sharp little blade here at the tip. So this is just a different style, different brand. But they are great to have, especially for the doll clothes sewing, because the seams are small, and this one enables you to get right up in there and clip those threads right when you've finished it, so you don't have any little loose threads hanging off on the inside, which is just good for having a nice, clean, professional finish. So those I feel like are a must. I would have a pair for fabric and a pair for cutting your threads. Another thing that you're going to want to have, and this might actually come in your sewing machine bag, it just depends, is a seam ripper. And so this one, try to hold this so you can see this. Here's a seam ripper, and it has this long kind of pointed end and the shorter end. And when we work on doing some stitches, I'll show you how to use this to carefully remove the stitches if they've gone crooked or you need to take some out and start over. So it's really easy to use, and it's a great tool. You definitely want one of those. Another thing that you are going to need is a measuring tape. This one just unrolls and rolls up, not in a case or anything. This has inches and it has centimeters on the other side. There's a lot of variety of measuring tapes out there. A lot of fabric stores will give them to you for free when you purchase fabric from them, so that's always fun. But that definitely is a good thing to have. This is what I keep all my pins on. It's magnetic, which is awesome. I love this one. Nothing falls off, and when I lose pins or they're all over my desktop or on the floor, I can just kind of guide this across and they all just snap right up to the pin holder, which is awesome. So you can have one of those, and you definitely will need pins for pinning your fabric and your pattern pieces. Having a few safety pins. I have a few different sizes on here. This one's pretty big, but a safety pin or a small safety pin. For threading things like elastic, pulling elastic through a casing. There's a lot of different uses for them, so those are great. And then you're going to want to have some hand sewing needles, which I have one on here, which is just a needle that you'll use with a small eye that you'll thread, and you can do hand sewing stitches. So there's a lot of finishing work that you'll want to use these for, or there's a lot of sewing that you can do if you don't have a sewing machine and you want to just sew by hand. So some hand sewing needles in a variety of sizes are good to have on hand as well. One last tool that you'll find useful, and especially with doll clothes, I feel like, or this is used primarily in quilting as well, is a rotary cutter. A rotary cutter looks like this, and this is a small one. I like this size for doll clothes items because it's very easy to turn and cut in curves because the circle, the size of the blade is so small. You expose the blade, and then you use a hard ruler, either metal or plastic, and you'd have your fabric on a self-healing cutting board. You always want to have this underneath. So you have to have all 3 pieces to use this tool. So just make sure that you have them all when you're ready to start using one. So you'd set your fabric, and this has a grid on it, so you can use it as a line. You use your plastic ruler and hold this in place with enough distance where you're not touching or close to the blade. And then you just cut right along that. It'll roll right along, and it cuts right through the fabric. So if you want to cut straight lines, or like for ruffles or something, a lot of the mesh dance fabric, it works good to just do. You can do quick, long, straight cuts with a rotary cutter.